Hello and welcome to another episode of FGTN Fishing Gear and Tech News. I'm your host, Alex Tim, and this week we've got quite a few things that we're going to be talking about. We've got free fishing weekend for Wisconsin. We're going to talk a little bit about, I really like the way that they do this, where you can actually borrow gear if you don't have gear and you want to try it out. So we'll talk a little bit about that. There's a trade-in program. So if you have one of several different units, and it's not just Garmin, it's Garmin, Lowrance, Humminbird, you can actually upgrade your screens and do a trade-in program, which I thought was pretty unique. So we're going to talk about that. 2024 Minnesota Fishing Tournament list is now live. So we're going to preview that and take a look at what that looks like. Ultimate Fishing Show wrapped up this last weekend in Novi, Michigan. We're going to talk a little bit about what that show was. It's a little bit different. I've never attended it, but it's a little bit different than what I had expected. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, show the floor map and discuss that. And then there was some storms out in Maine and they destroyed some fishing shacks. I got a little video on that. And then we're going to talk about that as well. But that's not all. We've definitely got more. We're going to talk about a couple of products that I wanted to feature here. One, I want your guys' feedback on what do you think of this? And then the other one I want to rave about because I used it this last weekend and I thought it was pretty awesome. In terms of deals, there'll be a couple of different deals that we'll show, and then we'll wrap up the stream. So without further ado, as always, I'd love to see who's here live with us. And if you're on the replay squad, go ahead, drop down in the chat. Who's here, where you're tuning in from. Have you been out on the ice yet this year? And are you planning on getting out this upcoming weekend? I'd love to hear from all you guys here. All right, so let's go ahead, pull up the screen. And we've got a little bit of something fun. Let me know if you guys can hear this. It should be clapping in the background quietly. It's a nice applause. I had music that I was going to play in the background, but I didn't during the intro, so I already screwed up. But let me know. You'll probably see I have an earbud in my ear. I'm trying a couple new things, trying to improve these streams as we go. But let me know if you can hear it. You can hear it. Thunder Snow, thank you. Appreciate it. So we're going to try to spice these things up week over week, try to improve 1% every time. So first thing that we're going to talk about, free fishing weekend in Wisconsin. That's this upcoming weekend. A few things that I want to talk about specific to free fishing weekend. Is again, it is Wisconsin. It is not Minnesota. So if you're one of the people here watching from Minnesota or any other state, check where your state is doing them. I believe Minnesota's was actually last weekend, like the coldest weekend that we've had, where it was dangerously cold out if you're taking a kid out. In Minnesota, it's take a kid fishing with you. I really wish they would have rescheduled it. But hopefully the Minnesota DNR will just put on another one. Wisconsin, a couple of things that I want to talk through that I really like about this. So if you're in Wisconsin, try to encourage youth to get out, take your friends out, your family members out that maybe don't have a license. And then the idea is that they love the sport and they get a license. So one of the things that I thought was really interesting is this part right here where it says no tackle, no problem. Wisconsin has nearly 60 tackle loaner sites, and many of them are at state parks. Office hours vary by site. So contact the loaner site and plan to pick up gear. So if we open up this page, what it is it's a link to, they've got a key here for letters. I'm going to try to zoom in for you guys here. So FF is fly fishing. So of course, what we're worried about this time of year is ice fishing. So IF is what we want to look for. That means they have ice fishing jig poles all set up for panfish. Look at this. They've got Ashland County, they've got Brown County, Buffalo County, Chippewa County. I'm not going to go through the list, but they've got 60 different sites here, and a lot of them you can see have ice fishing equipment. I don't know if Minnesota does this, but hey, huge props to Wisconsin, DNR. I think that's really cool. If Minnesota doesn't do it, let's get it going here, Minnesota. This would be awesome to do. Regulations reminder. So if you are from Wisconsin and you're planning on participating, you still have to follow all fishing regulations, even though you didn't have to pay for a license. So seasons, bag limits, length limits, all of that. And they have those links here. I'll have all of the things we talk about, as always, linked down below and pinned as a comment if you guys want to refer to any of these after the stream. And then, of course, a little snippet here. What Wisconsin does that I think is really cool is they have a first-time buyer for a license, where you actually get it for $5. Or if you haven't had a fishing license in 10 years, you qualify for a $5 annual license, which is really cool. So they do it twice a year, January 20th to the 21st. That's this weekend. And then in June as well for open water. So I thought this was super freaking cool. Just seeing if anybody had anything that they wanted to say. Thunder Snow going to Wisconsin for a B-Day party, man. Bring your rods and reels with and hit the ice. You don't even need to pay for a license this weekend. Awesome. All right. Next thing I wanted to talk through. So this is through a company. I've purchased some of their products before, Russell Marine Products. So I know they're a reputable company. They put YouTube videos out too. I think they've got a pretty resourceful channel. They do a lot of comparisons and whatnot. I, of course, am a Garmin user, but I know there's other people out there that use Lowrance, Humminbird, and some of you don't use any of them, and that is totally okay. But what I wanted to tell you about is they have this program called Trade In and Trade Up. It's where you can, if you have a qualifying unit and you wanted to upgrade, maybe you want a more powerful unit, maybe you want one that has HDMI out so you can plug it into a screen. Maybe you want, did I already say a bigger unit, a faster unit? You can actually now do that through Russell Marine Products. So you can see here, this is just the top of their website, russellmarineproducts.com. This is not sponsored by them or anything, but I've got so many guys that are like, how can I upgrade? I'd really love to get credit back. Garmin should do a trade-in program, but they don't. And so right here from their website, you can see make upgrading easy. This is the way that it works. So there's a quote request form. I haven't done this myself, so I don't know what the value is you're going to get, but you can see here on the screen, if you're interested in a trading quote for the value of your current unit. So something that I would typically see here is somebody that maybe bought a Panoptix bundle, or they bought a live scope bundle, or they purchased the 9-inch screen, the 93 SV, which is like one of the most popular ones out there in terms of their volume unit. And you want to get a 106, an ultra unit or something like that. This is perfect because what you have to do is make sure that whatever screen you want to trade in qualifies for the trade-in program, which you can see here. Lowrance, they've got the HDS Carbon and newer, the Elite FS in active target. Garmin, they've got EcoMap Plus and newer. So this doesn't, say it's got to be a UHD unit. This doesn't say anything about that. So technically, you could trade in a 73 EcoMap Plus, which is probably, if you were to sell it on like Facebook Marketplace, maybe get $250 for it. Who knows what you're going to get here? I should actually go through it and see what the values are, and maybe can post it in the comments after. But Humminbird, they've got as well. And then Garmin, you can put the GPS Map 8600 series in here as well, and newer, which is their highest end unit. So it'd be interesting why a person would want to trade that in. And it also says live scope you can trade in. Also active target and mega live. So I wonder if like you were a Humminbird user and you're like, you know what? I really want live scope, but I've got all this Humminbird stuff. You might be able to qualify and see if you can trade in your chart plotter, your screen, in addition to your Mega Live, and then go with live scope. Or if you have the LVS 32, the original live scope, I wonder what value they'd give you for that. And then you could get the live scope plus. Might be an idea. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. If you guys wanted to see it, there's not many of these. In fact, I don't know of any other trade-in program for this equipment. So I thought it was unique and wanted to feature it here. Again, this is not sponsored by them. I have no relationship with them. But I do know they are a reputable company, so you can feel confident with that. Name, email, brand, model, screen size, generation, and then it looks like maybe they send you a quote. So that's kind of cool. Kind of cool. All right. Next up, Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. They have the fishing tournament list for 2024. This took them a little while to get out. It just came out in the last, I'd say, 4 days. Before that, I checked and it wasn't live yet. So 2 views that you can see. If you go to this website that I'll have linked down below on the DNR website, you can see just basic information. So this is sorted by dates on here. So what we can see is this upcoming weekend is the 19th, 20th, 21st. So there are, here, I'll zoom in for you guys. There are 3 tournaments that are happening on this list this upcoming weekend. There's the 3rd annual Beaver Classic Ice Fishing Tournament. on the 20th. So all 3 are on Saturday, and then there's this one and this one. So you can see it doesn't tell you a lot of information, but what it does tell you is the name of it, the date, who to contact, and then the lake. But here's where the value really is to me, is if you click this link here, download the listing PDF, it pulls up this page. And so like, let's look at those same ones on this page. So these are the 3 this weekend. What I do when I'm trying to decide, obviously you can look at area and whatnot, but the other thing that I look at in the zoom feature doesn't work when I'm in Adobe on the browser, but you can see here the name, the water, the species, the county, if you're interested, and then the payout for prizes. The average is they're guesstimating $2,000 to $5,000 for all 3 tournaments. Estimated number of entrants. So here's what I would do. So if you were to, like, let's get down into February. Here we go. February 17th weekend, there's a lot of tournaments. So this is the way that I would typically use this. If you're willing to drive somewhere, you plan ahead and you say, okay, February 17th, there's a bunch of tournaments here. I'd first look at prize payout. So $10,000 to $25,000. All of these are less, and that's it for the weekend. So those ones I probably wouldn't be as interested in. But I'd look at these 3. So I'd say, okay, 10 to 25,000 payout in prizes if you're in it to win something, like if that's your goal. So you can look at estimated entrants, 500, 800, 500. So they're about the same. This one's 800. So unless it was a really close area to me, I would probably not go with this one, because it means that your chances of winning are lower, because there's probably going to be more people to enter. You can also see how much you have to pay to get in. So $30, $35, and $20. So this one is $20, 10 to 25,000 payout, and 500 entrants. And then you can see where it is. It's a perch and pout hunt on Mille Lacs. Target species is perch. Pout, I think, might be out of season at this time. I could be wrong on that. That may be why the species isn't in here. And then you can see the time of the tournament. So it literally has all the information that you need to make a decision. Where am I going this weekend if you want to fish tournaments? Fishing tournaments when it gets later in the season is really fun. If you're the type of person that it gets old by the end of the season and you're like, I want a little excitement, I want a little competition. It's fun to go to these pages and see, because there's hundreds of tournaments on here. So enough draining that one. But check it out if you guys are interested. This is live. I haven't found Wisconsin to have one of these. If any of you guys are from another state, like Utah, like Maine, where I know some of you guys are from, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Canada, drop in here a link if you guys have tournament listings for your state as well. I'd love to keep an eye on them and link them down below too as a resource to other people. So let me know down below. All right. Next topic is the Ultimate Fishing Show in Detroit. This happened last weekend, January 11th to the 14th. This was the last ice show of the season, at least that I'm aware of, across the nation. So you'll see it ran Thursday through Sunday. This is titled the Ultimate Fishing Show, and I think for good reason. It's a lot more than just ice fishing. It's really to prepare for the open water boat season, but it sounded like they actually have more ice fishing featured in this show this year than they have in years past. So they got this website that I'll link here, but if we look at the floor plan, what we can see, opening it up for you so we can all follow along and see exactly what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to show you how much space ice fishing is. So here is the floor plan, and I can't move around on it. Here we go. And so you'll see they've got Lake Ultimate up here. So this is like a big auditorium. I think it's a convention center. And so what you're going to see on the left here, fishing boats and marine products. So they've got a ton of like marinas and sports companies over here on the left. Those are the big vendors. Then you've got a hog trough. You've got fly casting, a trout pond, college bass. And then in the yellow here, you've got all like the littler vendors that they had. And then in the blue, in the corner, you've got ice fishing. So you can see how small it is. It's not predominantly an ice fishing show, but this happened this weekend. So if we look at this and we look at, I don't know where it went. I had the vendor list. Here we go. So here's the vendor list for the boats. They had the actual. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Oh, the show program. I don't know what happened to this. I had it open before. So if we click on this, it'll open the full show program. We'll take a look at it. So clam was in here as one of the key features. Otter, Eskimo were featured, but I didn't see them having their own booth, which I thought was interesting. If anybody went to the Michigan Ice Show, make sure you drop it in here. Let me know how it was. I'd love to hear from you. Is it worth going to next year for ice fishing? They say right here, expanded ice fishing village that they had, striker, clam, fraybill, Eskimo, otter. They've got a couple of things here, but it almost looked like a lot of this was actually at vendor booths rather than the brands themselves there in the ice fishing area. So let me know down below. This seems like a really cool show. There's the Northwest Sports Show that happens in the Minneapolis Convention Center upcoming here in, I believe it's March. It might be April this year that I'm going to be attending to really look at open water stuff. And I'll get some video hopefully for you guys so you can see that as we get into open water season as well. All right, let's keep on going here. There is a storm. I see Joe Holland in the chat. What's up, Joe? Thanks for tuning in. You probably know a lot about this next topic that we're going to talk about here. South Portland residents mourn loss of historic Fisherman's Point shacks. If you guys haven't heard about this, there was a huge storm that happened out in Maine. I did a little bit of research on this because I saw it come across one of my feeds. So there's 3 historic fishing shacks in Maine dating back to the 1800s that were washed away by a record high tide. I've got a couple pictures here just to show you how awesome these things look. These are old school fishing shacks from the 1800s. They had sentimental value for the community, being a part of personal milestones such as senior photos and weddings. They were recently renovated in October. So you can see here's 3 of them here together. Just a beautiful view. The community is like mourning the loss of these. I'd love to hear from Joe if he knows about these, if he knows much about them at all. But you can see they look like they were recently renovated, but these were washed away. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you a video that I've got queued up, so you can hear a little bit more about what exactly happened, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So I'll get that video going right. It's only about 1.5 minutes, so be right back.
She's gone.
3 historic fishing shacks along Willard Beach in South Portland were caught on camera being carried out to sea and returned as debris. Residents piling up the remaining pieces on the beach.
Very, very upsetting for our community here. It felt surreal, unbelievable. I mean, obviously, you know, we knew that this was a possibility.
The shacks at Fisherman's Point were the last tie to a long fishing history dating back to the late 1800s. But back in 2022, the South Portland Historical Society prepared for this day by recruiting local architects.
Asking them if they would be willing to volunteer their time and helping us to create architectural drawings to recreate and rebuild those fishing shacks if we were to ever lose them. They took measurements. They took photographs that are actually 360-degree photographs of the interiors.
It will be a long process to rebuild, which they plan to get started this week. DeFilippo says she doesn't expect the city of South Portland to use tax dollars, but says there is already a strong foundation of people wanting to help.
We have heard from SMRT since the shacks washed away with another offer to help us lending their services. We've also heard from carpenters willing to donate their time in a rebuild, and people willing to donate to help pay for materials.
Yeah, so absolutely insane that these things got washed away. There's a lot of mourning in the community. There was a lot of people that really tied these to that community, and really, here's another photo of them floating away. Pretty sad. So what I know about them, they were the last of a series built along the shore and moved to their final locations in the 1880s. That's how long they've been there. They once stored lobster traps and fishing gear. The tide that came through was a record 14.5-foot tide that was measured in Portland, Maine, surpassing the previous record set in 1978. The tide was the highest since measurements began in 1912. So absolutely crazy. Hopefully the community is going to rebuild like they had talked about. It sounds like they're going to. These must be those lobster traps that they used to store there back in 1975. Just really cool piece of history. So I hope that they rebuild them and use some of the material that they had washed back up on shore. It sounds like the community there is pretty involved in trying to help make that happen. So yeah, outstanding. All right. Products. We're going to talk about 2 products tonight that I think are cool. One of them is new to me. The other one that we're going to talk about right now is not. So this has been out for a couple of years. Let me know in the chat. Have you guys heard of this before? It is the Jiffy Ice Drills Ice Scout is what this thing is called. So it's just like this. It looks like just like a metal rod with like half auger blades on it, and then it's got a tip on it. I purchased this, I think 2 years ago. When I saw it at I don't even remember what it was. It wasn't a Cabela's. It wasn't a Shields. It was just some small weird store that I was in. I don't even know why I was there, but I saw it and I'm like, this is perfect for early ice. And knowing how bad our ice has been here in Minnesota this year, last weekend was the perfect opportunity to check it because we had like that bomb cold air come in and it was like, okay, is this safe enough to get on? And what I really like about it is the coloring on it. And I can zoom in on this because this is not a PDF. Is you can see, so it's got your the blade point on the bottom, all metal. This is all steel. And then it's got this sticker here. So what you do is you hook the bottom of this arrow point where there's no auger bits on this side of it. You just hook it up to your drill. You drill through the ice. Then you hook this underneath the ice and you can get a quick read on it. You may have seen these on videos of resorts that use this type of thing if they don't use like a chainsaw. Excuse me. But you can see here, if it's in the red zone, it's under 4 inches, not recommended to go on. And then you've got an orange zone up to 8, yellow zone up to 12, and then green above 12. And so I was able to hop around when it was negative 46 wind chill out, negative 16 temperature this weekend when I was out ice fishing with this thing, checking ice. And I was able to find out where the 6 inches stopped and then where it started dropping off down below that. So this thing is absolutely phenomenal. You'll see it in an upcoming video on my channel because I used it. Again, not sponsored. They didn't pay me. They didn't send it to me. I paid for this myself. But this is a really cool tool. And so I think a big thing that we need to do a better job of during early season, because there's been a lot of problems this year around ice, is just how can we be safe around the ice? And I think this is a really cool tool that's simple, easy to use. It's $49.99. You can find it in stores for cheaper than this too, especially on sale. But you just hook it up to your drill and you drill through the ice and you can see it goes up to about 30 inches. Really easy to use. It actually comes with a blade protector on it as well. And you can see how it hooks under the ice. If you have one of these, let me know down in the chat. Looks like Trig's got one of these. He loves it. Awesome. I'll link it down below if you guys want to pick it up. We've got Black Hole Donkey. Heard of the Ice Scout, but when it's early, I trust my spud bar more. No shade, just saying. You know, I'm glad you said that, and I totally agree. So when I went out, I first spudded my way out and made sure I was good, but I wasn't going to spud through 6 inches of ice multiple times just to see how thick it was. And so once I knew I had a good 3+ inches and I could walk on it, I went back out on that path with this Ice Scout to see how deep it was. Was it 4 inches? Was it 6? Was it 11? There were points where I hit 11 inches that I would have hated to spud through and then try to get a measurement. My spud bar doesn't have a tape on it where I can hook it. So this is, I think it's together. And you'll see in the video that I have coming out where I've got a spud bar in my right hand that I'm going out with. And then I've got this with my drill in my left arm. And then I'm going out. And then as I'm spudding, after a few steps, I check the ice. So I think it's like it's a 1-2 punch. But if this can help people understand where there's safe ice, I think it's a cool product to talk about. So glad you You said that. We've got John here saying, wouldn't make the green almost ever around here. Where was the green? Was it 12 plus? 12 plus. John, where are you located, man? I know that there are lakes within an hour of me that are now already in the green zone just from the last 2 weeks. Like, it's that crazy cold out here right now. Ads in a live stream. I don't have any ads going right now, so not sure what you're seeing. Maybe it's on YouTube. Buy YouTube Premium if you don't already. It gets rid of all the ads. I think they stopped doing ad blockers, allowing them on the platform. So check it out. This is the Ice Scout. Next up, this is the other product that I'd love to get you guys' feedback. So I had a buddy of mine actually message me this product today, and he's like, this thing is really cool. So this is called, I got to zoom in, out, whatever. It's called the Icelander Fishing Nets. So they have these products. Let me click on one to show you what it is. And I do have a short video on it. That's kind of a creepy picture. So what it is it's a net that goes down your ice hole to help you get the fish out of the hole or to get slush out of your hole. And it has a tape measure here. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you this video really quick. I think it's super short. Yeah, it's 34 seconds. I'll play the video and then we're going to talk a little bit about it. I want your guys' opinion. I have an opinion on if I think this is cool or not. But let's play the video and see what you guys think.
Eric, what are we looking at?
We have the Icelander net here. Put the net into the hole, actuate it, pull the fish out. Then you reset it into the bottom of the hole, and then you actuate the net and then pull the fish up out of the hole. The net can also be used to remove slush after augering, and it can be used to measure ice thickness and fish length. To reset, you just squeeze the handle and put it back to the fully locked position. That's the Icelander Net at IcelanderNets.com.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So there we go. The Icelander Net. What do you guys think? Drop it down in the chat. Would love to hear what you guys think. While those chats are coming in, I'm not going to spoil it with what I think and which size I might pick up. But let's go back to the main page here. So they have 7.5, 8, 8.5, 10 inch. So they've got for all your different size ice holes that you have. And then they have the replacement nets in it as well. What do we got people saying here? Jay is saying it's a no for me. All right, Jay, it's a no for you. Anybody else have an opinion on this guy here? So again, we've got, it looks like your measuring tape here. So that way you can pull your fish out, throw it on there, and then you've got your net. Price point on the 7.5 inch is $129. Robbie is saying it's a no for me, Alex. All right. Utah Mike is saying maybe good for a hard shack. And we got Black Hole Donkey saying I'm too trad for the Icelander. I don't know what that means. Too try hard? Too tired for it? Too pro for it? Never had a problem. Too expensive? No. It would freeze solid for a running gun. Not for that price from Chris. Just one more thing to carry out. Yeah. Frank, no. All right. I agree with all of you. So I think it's cool in concept, but I don't understand the problem that it's solving for. So one of the things that I look for when I look at products is, and I do product development for my day job, is you have to look at what are the problems that you're solving for, and then you invent a solution for the problem. I can't tell you how many people I've ever heard say, I'm catching a fish and I wish I had a net for my ice hole to catch the fish when it's already in the hole. I think it'd be different if it was like underneath the ice because you can't get it to turn its head up, but that's not what this product is for. The answer is I've never heard anybody say that. And I agree with what a lot of you guys are saying here. One, I think it is an expensive product, but hey, I'm not going to bang on their product. Maybe they have a good market. Maybe it's just not for me and any of us, but it does seem fairly expensive. A couple of things that I noticed right away as well is this net, if used outside, would freeze up pretty rock solid right away. The measuring is kind of cool on it. So I don't see a very good application for it. Sure, maybe you might lose one less fish, but you've got to try to get it in the hole around the fish to net it up. It's just I think it's a cool idea, but it's one more thing to carry out, and it's pretty expensive. The other thing that I wish they would do, so if they've got a good market for this, is they should add something to the handle. Because if you look at this, and for some reason, if I zoom out, it doesn't make the picture any smaller. Let me see if I can pull up a better picture so I can explain what I was going to talk about on it. All right. So you'll see this is how big the net is, right? Look how small the handle is. If you have this over an ice hole and you drop it accidentally, it's going down the hole. They need to make the handle bigger so you don't lose a $130 Icelander net down the hole. So hopefully they're watching this stream. I highly doubt it, but if they do, that's awesome. Make that a little bigger. That way you won't have people losing it. Put something on there like a bar or something across. Make the handle a little bigger. But yeah, interesting. They've got a bunch of them for different size holes that you can do. They have a little grid here for compatibility chart. So anyways, that's this guy. I'd love to hear if anybody has tried this out. If you want to pick it up, it would be interesting. We've got somebody saying that thing will freeze solid. Day job, what's that? Man, we got to pay the bills. We got to buy the camera equipment and the fishing gear and all that to get out there. So, we got to have a day job. Maybe one day this will be full time. And, I'll just have so many of you guys, I guess, watching these ads that are popping up that I can just do this all the time. So I appreciate it. Eric is saying, I'll take not interested for 400, Alex. I love it. I love it. And the funny thing, too, is that's my name. That joke works really well here. All right. Awesome. Okay. Moving on. We've got deals now. So Marine General, and I think we're going to start seeing this from a lot of retailers happening based off of the time of the year and how rough the ice season has been so far. So Marine General has a lot of fishing gear on sale. Typically, you see these types of sale prices at the end of the season. I think they're going to get even deeper of a discount. But this is what they've got. So they've got this page, marinegeneral.com/specials. I'll link it all down below, of course, as always. They've got different categories here. We're going to talk about a couple of them. Ice fishing electronics. So if we click on that, it'll open up their electronics page. And you can see everything from AquaViews, $100 off. The Markham Explorer HDL. This is a really nice underwater camera. This guy right here. Normally $550, on sale for $120 off. That's more than 20% off. That's a really good deal. They've got the Humminbird units here. They've got Markham flashers. You can see the prices on these things. So this is $90 off on this underwater camera. The M3L flasher is $130 off. Is that like 25% off? Is that what these things are going for right now? These Markham batteries, I got a video coming out on these guys pretty soon here. Glow rings, if you need a glow ring for your setup. So they've got underwater cameras and electronics. They've also got ice houses on sale. So if you've been waiting for a deal on the ice houses, let's pull this up and take a look here. They're all ranges. If I remember right, Marine General is the one where like you get a discount if you purchase locally. So let's look at what's a popular one of these. Here we go. The Eskimo Wide One Thermal. This is a fairly popular unit. Yep. So it is based off of like if you're going to pick it up or not. So if you do in-store pickup, it's $379, $120 off, which I think, yeah, I can't do that math in my head. $120 off 500 would be 24% off. I just did the math in my head. So 24% off, it looks like on a lot of the different products. But the thing with Marine General on these bigger products specifically is if you can be in the speedy area, they add a little bit for a speedy delivery charge, $439. In the rest of the country is $649 because of the shipping. So if you're local, you can probably get some better deals. On the smaller products, though, I don't think that they have that upcharge for the shipping like that. But these things are expensive to ship, especially these. I probably showed you a bad example. So we'll go look at something else here. But ice houses with the sleds are really expensive to ship. Let's look at winter specials. I think that they've got some other ice fishing accessories in here. Yes, they do. Catch and cook. So they got a special 4 bags for 20 bucks, $5 a bag. That's a good deal. That's actually the Black Friday price that a lot of people had going for it. So if you're interested in catch and cook, go ahead and pick it up. I wonder if they've got the new flavor in here. I haven't tried it yet. Within the next couple of weeks here, I will try it. But it is the lemon pepper. They don't have it. So they have original or spicy. Original is good, nice and crunchy. Spicy is spicy. What I like to do, if you're going to get either of these, is get both and then mix them together, because then you get that crunchy coating and then a little bit of kick, but it's not too kick heavy. If you really like spicy food, just go all spicy and you're going to love it as well. They've got the heat hog heaters right now. The small one is from $119, which is normal MSRP, down to $79.99, which is a really good deal. The 18,000, so this is the Big Buddy size. So this is $149.99, which is a really good deal for that heater. Actually, that's fairly average. Honestly, it's only $10 off. For some reason, I was thinking the Big Buddy was a lot more than that, but a Big Buddy Black Friday deals are $89.99, $99.99, normally $119.99. So this is actually still more expensive than the Big Buddy at MSRP. But the Heat Hogs tilt, there's a lot of benefits there. I'm doing another video on comparison of the Heat Hog Flame King in the Buddy heaters side by side. So look out for that. That'll be probably a month before that video comes out. You've got the Ion. So they've got the 8-inch ultralight bit. So if you've got an Ion auger and you got the steel bit and you want the ultralight, you can get it for $100. That is crazy. So this is the composite bit. If you need the 8-inch, get this here. I wish they sold the 10-inch by itself, but they don't. Nobody sells it by itself. You'd have to buy the whole auger. But they've got the steel auger in which it looks like the 8-inch in steel is going to be $409.99, $439.99 for 10-inch. So decent deals on the augers, but that auger bit is a crazy good deal. Oh yeah, I was going to show you shipping prices. So we'll look at, here's the Big Buddy. I know I'm kind of jumping all over. Here's the Big Buddy, $119.99 for the Big Buddy. Heat Hog heater, $149.99. Honestly, for $30, I'd go with the Big Buddy heater. They're both good, but I would not spend the $30 more. I don't think it's worth the $30 more to get the Heat Hog. My personal opinion, based off of using both for 2.5 years. Okay, so let's look and see what shipping looks like. I don't know if they do free shipping if you were to look at any of these, but let's just choose these guys. We're going to do 2 original. We're going to do 2 spicy just to see how much they tack on for shipping. Because obviously this isn't a big product, so it's not going to tell us what shipping is until we add an address in there, which I'm not going to do. So I'll have that link down below if you're interested in the Marine General. They're starting the deals. I think all retailers are going to start doing these crazy deals because they've got a lot of inventory. Augers specifically, if you're looking for an electric auger, I've been saying this since October. This is the year to get an electric auger. Everybody still has carryover from last year because of the rough ice season. We had the new Eskimo E40 come out this year. Like blowout prices. This is the year to buy an electric auger. Razor stopped selling their electric auger with the power head. They obviously still have their flights and they're going to continue to sell those, but those lowered the competitive price point. So if you're getting an electric auger, this is the year to do it. At very end of the season is going to be the lowest prices you've ever seen on them. Like, it's going to be ridiculous. Of course, stay tuned to the channel. I'll let you guys know as they come up. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is tuned up custom rods. These are, I believe, the only rods in custom rods that have a lot of their components fabricated here in the United States. Like if you look at like St. Croix does some custom rods. If you look at a lot of those bigger companies, Tuned Up Custom Rods is one of the only to actually build all of theirs in-house here in the States. They've got videos on it. They have a podcast. They're pretty good. Again, no affiliation with this company, but the deals that they have going right now, Don't tell me they turned it off today. Hold on. Hold on. We are going to see if they still have the deals going. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. They had a deal on this yesterday. So maybe they stopped it. I'm going to refresh the page and we're going to look. They had a crazy deal going where if you bought multiple or over a certain price point, you saved a good percent. Let me reach out to the company and see if they still have the deal going. And if so, I'll link it down below. It was a pretty good deal, up to 30% off of their rods. So let me see. I use a lot of tune-up custom rods. That's why I looked at their site and I'm on their mailing list, so I got it. But it doesn't look like they've got it going right now. Check out JT for local. Eric is saying, yeah, I've got to try their rods. I have not tried any of their rods. I did try out. I picked up some Della Bay rods this year. So those, I've got a panfish and a walleye rod that I'm going to try. I'm excited about that. I have up to 20% off. Yeah, Frank Herr has hit lures, handcrafted injected tackle. Is that what the hit stands for, right? If I remember right. I like his plastics. I caught a muskie ice fishing with his plastics last year. Looks like he's got up to 20% off on his ice rods right now. Yeah, if anybody here has products that they want to tell people about deals that you have, go ahead and drop it into the comments. But that is what we had for tonight. So we went through news, products, deals. Really appreciate each and every one of you for tuning into the channel in each of these weekly podcasts. If there's anything in particular you want to see each and every week when we hop on these, let me know. I've got the soundboard going. We're going to blow the air horn right now. Hopefully that's kind of fun for you guys. We're going to start doing a little bit more with background music, sound effects, try to get some other guests on in the future, try to keep ramping up the production quality of this stream. I enjoy spending 30 to 60 minutes with you every single week whenever we can make it happen. So again, if you have specific topics or guests that you want to see on this weekly video podcast, let me know and I'll reach out to them and try to make it happen. We had a couple people ask to get Clam on here to talk about their products. So we got Matt Johnson earlier this year to do that. I'm not affiliated or tied to any brand. I don't do any exclusive deals. So we can bring anybody on that we want and really look at it from an unbiased perspective. So let me know. Heck, if you're somebody out there that has a brand or has a company where you sell products, gear, and tech within the fishing space and you want to be on the podcast, reach out to me, let me know. But if you guys want to see a couple more of these episodes, some of the ones that got the most reaction to it so far, check out this video if you're on the replay. That'll pop up on the screen right here. And until next time, take it easy. Tight lines this weekend. Stay safe out there.